Oh, I think, there we go. We're starting. It's finally happening, and we're starting in the game number 1 on the set between TheViper and puppypaw. In the blue, we have puppypaw playing as the Chinese, and who do we have in our favorite color?
We've got in the wait, you said blue. Oh, you get puppypaw. Okay, I got it. Here we go. On the south side of the map, we have playing in the color yellow, GL TheViper. Okay, there we go. That's my Drongo impression for you. And there it is, the zoom in, the zoom out. He is there and ready to party, putting down that gold, the mining camp already, playing as the French versus Chinese. This should be a fun one.
Yeah, definitely. And now we have the early part of the game. So let's actually check out what Oh, that's interesting. We see puppypaw. He's going out immediately onto the deer here. Can you check the mill? Has he actually grabbed any upgrades from the mill immediately? Because they're definitely... Yeah, there we go. There it is. Survival techniques coming in immediately with the supervision from the Imperial official. That technology is so fast. That took like 10 seconds and the tech was through. Holy moly. That was quick.
Yep. And let's see if there's any movement towards the middle. Keep an eye on that pond if he goes for an early Barbican. But I expect he'll probably start with an academy there in his base, and then maybe go for a Barbican mid is more likely to see. And Viper's starting to get some scouting out. Both players on 1 scout from what I'm seeing here. Yes, they've got 1 scout, so no 2 scout openings. That used to be like... I feel like it used to be every game everyone made 2 scouts, and here we go. We got 1 scout for each players. Of course, they do have some deer in base, but definitely an interesting opening.
Yeah, this could be tough, though, for puppypaw. Like you said, he might open with an Imperial Academy, but I think that could be a mistake. If you open up with the Imperial Academy, you might be able to give Viper a window where he could suddenly have a Royal Knight in your base, and that could escalate very, very quickly. And we see that right now, Viper, he's got a relatively good timing if he clicks up within like the next 5 seconds. That could be a very, very fast Feudal Age. And here we go, Feudal Age coming in right now. So this could be a very, very early Royal Knight coming out here for Viper.
Well, and definitely, we talked about before this game started that we could see China and some Zugnu spam. If there's any Civ that was going to deal with it, French is a great one. Because of those knights, they ain't horsemen. They got some armor on their back, and they can actually go toe-to-toe with them a lot better than a lot of the other civilizations. So, yeah, I think you're right. I think Paul is going to play this a little bit more reserved since he is up against French, and Viper seems to have a very clean build order so far. Those deer being pushed out away from his TC. Let's hope he gets some sheep there. I'm not sure where all the sheepy sheep spawn on this map. There, oh, there we go. Imperial Academy. So that will be number 1. Maybe a defensive Barbican?
Yeah, I mean, he probably won't have the map control in order to place the Barbican anywhere else but inside of his base. That Imperial Academy just means that now Viper has a window. And if he's able to use that window, that could become very dangerous here for puppypaw. As the Chinese, you kind of struggle a little bit with the map control, at least against the French. And also, it looks like Viper, he was able to gather up a very good amount of sheep, even with only his 1 scout, which is inferior to the Chinese scout. The Chinese scout, they have quite a bit more line of sight, so usually the Chinese single scout is able to get quite a lot of sheep. But Viper actually gets a lot of sheep himself with his 1 single scout, and that's important for French. With that sheep, you're able to produce a lot of knights, you have your economy safe on your town center, and H-up is going to come in very, very shortly. It's actually comparative timing here to puppypaw's H-up, just because China, they're able to also build their buildings really, really fast.
Yep, absolutely. So, things I'll be watching for is, you know, if I see Viper starting to head towards some stone, could indicate a second town center. A lot of times you see French go for that town center expansion. Now, one thing to realize, town centers are a little more expensive than they were in the past. They cost 400 wood and 350 stone. There's additional 50 stone cost, and they also take a little longer to build than they did before. So just a few things. Town center, extra town center minute has been very big, but there we go. A first knight being trained up. Not seeing any movement towards the stone yet, and I think, well, I can't see. South side. Can we move down the... I think he is on stone. Yeah, I think that's what he's doing.
Barracks coming out, Barbican now being dropped, but the knight is all... it's still in queue. It's still not out on the field. Now it is. Now it's running towards... We also have some villagers on stone, potentially going for that second town center behind that. Very clean build order, also getting wheelbarrow at the same time. How many villagers right now are building away at the Barbican? Looks like there's only 3 villagers right now on the Barbican. So the knight, he's getting closer, and if the timing is right, he might actually be able to potentially get a villager from that Barbican, but Spear's already on the field as well. Puppypaw made the right choice here for that early barracks. But at the same time, I mean, what does this Barbican protect? It looks like it might not even be in range for the gold.
I don't know, not a whole lot. Well, everybody knows that the yellow knights are clearly faster as they're running in here, and they can actually go toe-to-toe with the spearmen early on. They get a charge in. They ain't too afraid of them, but you don't want to lose a knight to a spearman at the very least. Gets a charge in, and look at that villager lose the HP. We'll have to see if he ever grabs his textiles. A lot of times you want that versus French. So it gives your villagers an additional 25 HP. They start with a base of 50.
Barbican getting a couple of hits off on that knight. Second knight already out on the field as well for Viper. Puppypaw still making more and more spears, and now he's going to the stone. So also looking for a second town center of his own. Do note, Puppypaw is already in the Song Dynasty as the Chinese, so he's making a villager every 13 seconds right now. Normal production time for a villager, 20 seconds. So already, this is like Puppypaw being already on 1.6 town centers right now. And if he had a second one, puts them up to 3.2 town centers. Now, the French, they also produce their villagers a little bit faster, but not quite as fast as the Chinese. But yeah, second town center definitely looks to be here to play from Viper. He already has the resource for it and now drops it. Where does he drop it? He drops it on one of the secondary golds, as it looks like. So he's going to be able to have a good amount of control over his resource. He drops it next to gold and berries and is able to protect his main gold as well with that. So this is a really, really good town center placement here for him.
Yeah, and I'm glad you mentioned that Dynasty of China. I know a lot of us have been watching this for a long time, but if you are a newer player watching Age of Empires 4, China is the only civilization that can build multiple of their landmarks in each age. So what they have is a dynasty system with some unique techs or units that get unlocked. So they build their first landmark, and then for the same cost, they can build the other ones. So they can get basically all of their landmark options should they choose, and that's how he's able to unlock this faster villager production time and those Zugnu units here in the second age.
This is a very greedy forward town center. I wonder if Viper might now think about contesting that town center, actually. There's a lot of spears there, so he's not able to contest it just with knights, but might be thinking about adding some archery ranges. And there we go. We see the first archery ranges now being dropped or built, so archers coming out very, very soon here as well for Viper.
You know, I knew they nerfed the town center build time and the cost, and we're like, oh, we're gonna try to slow down or stop the TC meta from being so strong. But what do we see here? Both players going straight for 2 TC. Knights were out on the field. They weren't able to get any value. I mean, it just is delayed by like about a few seconds now, but it's still strong.
That's a death scout. Ooh. 2 sheep going over to Viper.
A sheep donation. There we go. Or they could be sheep scouts. He can move them on in there and just keep a little sneaky eye with the very little line of sight they give. You never know. Sheep spies. Never underestimate them. And get some archers coming out now.
That's a lot of information now being denied, though, for Puppypaw. He doesn't have a scout anymore. He's making horsemen now, so he did drop a stable at some point. But you really want to have at least one scout just to know what your opponent is doing. Behind that, Viper researched every single technology upgrade. These technology upgrades are 30% cheaper for the French. So even with, there was a recent buff to the technologies, to the economy technologies for all civilizations. And they've been made cheaper and faster to research. And that just stacked on top of the already cheaper economy costs for the French. So they're able to get all of those for really, really cheap. I think it's just like about 100 resources for every single upgrade here. Now we see spearmen fighting against the archers. Have to retreat here for a bit, but horsemen already out on the field.
Yep, so of course we got a rock, paper, scissors kind of combo here. So the spearmen will be the counter for those knights. We got archers with the counter for the spearmen. And right now, getting some gold there. It looks like, is he going for an age up? He's got 800 gold in the bank.
I think he just wasn't able to produce as many knights as he probably wanted to, or just didn't get as many researchers in as he wanted to. I think he probably wants to get every single research in the feudal age available to him, including the ones from Blacksmith. That's why he has so much gold. What I'm thinking, though, right now, he's struggling a little bit with his food economy, and I think that's due to him having a lot of his villagers on berries instead of on deer as well. Like, on his second TC, there's a lot of villagers on berries, and you can't gather as fast from berries. It's the same in Age of Empires 2. Resources, like the the berries and sheep and boars, whatnot, they all have different resource gathering rates, and it's the same here. So Viper gathering from the berries here, not as ideal as gathering from the deer.
Yeah, I usually think of the berries as like my backup resource, but that second deer patch is really far away. Of course, there's the fish in the middle that could be up for grabs, but would be quite risky. So I think Viper is going to age up. There we go. As we say it, the Guildhall being dropped down. This looks like on the northern side of his base. This landmark is going to basically bank resources over. If you could hover over the tooltip there, I think it was doing it for a second. But it will bank resources for free. So basically, slowly gives whatever resource you have toggled, and then you can have later on cash in on those resources. So it could be either a food source, wood, stone, or gold, whatever you want. But it's kind of like going to gain some interest there over time. But PuppyPaw moving in maybe to do a little timing attack here.
This is a lot of units. With this many units, you could probably even just take down the town center. 20 spearmen right now and 8 horsemen. Viper, he barely produced any units as he was going for the early Castle Age, and this shows right now. And we can also see that just with the Chinese bonus in the Song Dynasty, PuppyPaw leading right now with a 15 villager lead, and also having 20 more military units. This is looking rough right now. Viper really has to do something with this timing window here with this Castle Age, but now PuppyPaw knows, and how it looks like he's going for the dive-in with all of his units.
Yep, we got a horseman charging in, trying to get that scout, but it pulls back. The villager's going to be idled, and not a time you want them to be idle as you hit the next stage, but at least he has gold in the bank for a little bit there. The spearmen are going to be facing a lot of town center fire. The horsemen as well. The horsemen going to be a little bit more resistant to that archer fire of the town centers. But PuppyPaw, he's buying a lot of idle time here, taking a lot of damage, though. He's kind of was perfectly between those two town centers, and I think Viper is going to be just fine here to hold.
People going down from almost 40 military down to 21, and now this is looking good for Viper. He didn't lose any knights. He's making a keep. With this keep, all of his unit production is now going to be cheaper. All of the unit production from the archery ranges and the stables that are close to the keep. That means we can see, yeah, there's like a little plus over the archery ranges and the stables. So all of the production from these buildings is going to be 20% cheaper. And that's not to be underestimated. You suddenly pay a whole lot less for your units. PuppyPaw, at the same time, going up with the astronomical clock tower, works as a siege workshop, and any siege produced out of it has a lot more health. 50% bonus HP.
Yep, and he's got that granary there, which is that unique unit for the Chinese. You see him built right there in the middle. He's going to be dropping off his food there, and it buffs all the farming. What's the exact... If you get, there's a little icon under there you can hover over, but you can see the aura it's given for all that food gathering.
Yeah, it's a 10% buff per granary, and those stack. So if you have multiple granaries next to each other, you get up to 30% bonus gathering rate from those farms.
The front line is an interesting spot to build it, at the very least.
Yeah,
but
also with the landmark there also blocks a whole lot of space for farms. So kind of reminiscent of some T90 farms there. Not the most ideal placement for them. Viper, in the meantime, he has grabbed veterancy upgrades both for his Royal Knights as well as for his archers. So those archers do a lot of damage, but at the same time, PuppyPaw, he's making Nest of Bees. Those are like the Mangonel equivalent for the Chinese. They're a little bit stronger. They do a lot of damage to ranged units. So if you have clumped up archers, do be aware of those Nest of Bees. They might do a lot of damage. At the same time, Viper, he has a monastery, and he's going for relics on the map right now.
We've got our lovely observer here today showing us there's food currently being gathered there in the guild hall that he can cash in later, grabbing one of those relics for a little bit of gold generation. The concerning thing for me, if you look up at the top middle of the screen, 93 vills for PuppyPaw, 67 for Viper, 19 military for Viper, 30 military for PuppyPaw. But in comes a raid. Maybe you can level out that villager difference. Boom! Knights just chew through villagers so quickly. And that tower only holds 5, so I guess he lost the remaining.
Yeah, 3 villagers there going down. Viper keeps looking for some value, but I think, yeah, PuppyPaw has placed a lot of walls on the map, so he's going to be safe there. Viper might actually just choose to just attack the outpost and just get rid of that and kill the villagers remaining. But we do see a lot of movement on the map. It looks like PuppyPaw is pulling his spears over to that side.
Yep, Horseman's looking to try to get a raid, but there's a little palisade wall there. It's going to block him out. You see both players have built little palisade walls between each of these wood lines. A very common thing you're seeing amongst pros. Is a good way to stop those raids from coming in. Of course, this map has some of those kind of cliffs on the edge of the mountains that helps you build some of those checkpoints. But there goes some archers, going to get some shots off on those horsemen and the knights chasing. The horsemen do have a faster speed. They're slightly faster than the knights.
Yeah, so these horsemen will get away, actually leading Viper's knights here through the spears, and Viper has to be careful. Okay, he notices. Immediate reaction pulls his knights back. Perfect reaction.
Yeah, you don't want to lose that investment. That's a lot of spearmen. How many does he have? Is that 32 spearmen? That is. So PuppyPaw's army is growing.
A lot of military might. Yeah, a lot of military might right now out on the map for PuppyPaw. Also has one nest of bee. No more nest of bees in production though, so has to be very protective of that. Lots of archers on the field right now for Viper as well. I mean, 17 archers, they got veterancy, and they are also getting a lot of the blacksmith upgrades. He has plus 2 attack.
I think we're about to have a clash.
Yeah, that looks like a clash there in the middle. Actually, just passing for now.
The nest of bees is coming up.
Yeah, that's a dangerous, dangerous unit right now to have in front of your base there.
Uh-oh, Viper, I don't know about this fight. Nest of bees takes out the scout. He saw it at least. He knows it's there, so he can also get completely blindsided. He's got to expect it's probably on the way. He's getting
immediate reaction is making him sprinkled, and now, Archer's getting caught off guard here.
Yeah, the horseman being pretty fast. Those knights charging in to try to soak up some of the damage, but Nest of Bees rolling out the spearmen. If they get in contact with those knights, that would be trouble. Viper's in line formation, trying to escape back, tanking with the knights. Now, the knights do heal with that chivalry a little bit over time, so he's actually done a pretty good job of making the best of the situation. The line formation, very interesting. You don't see formations used a ton.
Line formation being very, very useful with the archers. It reduces the amount of overkill that they have because they spread out to more targets at the same time. So very good use here of formations for Viper. Now his knight mass is building up. With that keep, he's able to make these knights for much, much, much cheaper. Now he has to Springle out as well. He has an answer to that Nest of Bees. The Nest of Bees might go down. No, it doesn't go down. Does shoot on the archers, but Springle is shooting it now. This is a good fight for Viper.
Yep, looks like he... Oh, that Nest of Bee did micro it back, and it will live for another day. I mean, we're just seeing micro from both these players. This is pro Age of Empires for micro right here. Trying to make the most of the units, not just attack moving in, because those knights would get shredded by the spearmen if they were to do that. He's using the archers to counter out those spearmen, while the knights are kind of like trying to bait him and pull him back and forth, back and forth. And now we see a keep being dropped now for PuppyPaw, along with some repairs probably going to be dropped down for that Nest of Bees.
Yeah, right now at the same time, Viper's sitting on 2 relics, PuppyPaw so far only on 1, has another one secure in his base. Viper has scouted the one on the left side next to the relic, next to the sacred site, so might take that one at some point in time here. This could be a dangerous position though if PuppyPaw gets any more keeps out. That keep is next to one sacred site, which coincidentally is right next to another sacred site. That could snowball out very, very fast. You could get 2 of those sacred sites, and they give more gold than a relic now.
Yeah, we got archers scouting out to the north. I think he's just trying to guard them, guard his monk as he grabs that relic up. And some Springles moving to the north as well. Both players just kind of positioning their army around this lake, and no one's really using it. And we got a tower going down by those knights. That oh, I thought he would stick that fight.
Yeah, he could commit. The Springled has been nerfed, so it doesn't do as much damage anymore. As we can see, it only slightly tickles the knight, so if you can commit to that, you can definitely take a lot of villagers out there. Looks like he's sending more knights and might commit. Nope, does pull back again.
132 vills, PuppyPaw 90 for Viper right now.
Yeah, and PuppyPaw, he's close to that 200 population mark at the same time. Viper, he's sitting at about 30 less population right now. Spearmen now are in position to defend that outpost. Viper has to pull back. He doesn't realize he's sending knights into the spears. Only loses 1 knight though.
And something going on the south side in Viper's base right now as well. Perhaps a horseman raid, I think, from the speed I'm seeing there on the minimap. Yeah, they grab maybe a few villagers, get some low HP at the very least, but a nice raid. Viper was already lower on villagers. You can see the Vill kill, or worker kills there in the bottom left corner. You can see like the 3 in the top for Viper and the 6 on the bottom for PuppyPaw.
Spearman now being caught by the archers though. Couple of spears going down there. No Nest of Bees inside. At the same time, PuppyPaw, he's prepping a lot of siege. 2 Trepidates, 4 Springles, and 2 Nest of Bees. So he's very likely going for a push here now with that mass of siege.
Well, and the awkward thing is going to be here, I mean, Mobility is what's really driving this game right now, because those horsemen down on the south side are running around raiding. For him to run these knights all the way back to his base is going to take a long time. And it looks like he's kind of committing through to this fight. Maybe going to get the villagers that are there in that tower. Yes, 3 of those go down. The archers working on the spearmen keep being dropped by puppypaw.
Those keeps go up incredibly fast. He has almost 30 villagers working away at that keep going up with tremendous speed. And those knights, they have to evacuate soon. They're not getting a lot of villager kills, just a couple here and there. Villager kills right now even actually gets a couple more villager kills here. Good value gained by Viper, but now he has to retreat. That keep does a lot of damage now. Those knights drop like flies with the fire of the keep.
2 knights
doing
down.
150 damage with every single shot from the keep to those knights.
No, like 2 or 3 knights just dropped like almost immediately there. So Viper made the good play getting out of here. And now this retreat is awkward because the horsemen have the greater speed, but it looks like he's going to back off as Viper's running away with his remaining forces. But when the dust settles, raids on both sides. Villagers have been killed. We can see army value. It's been pretty similar. It looks like puppypaw is a little higher, but stats are pretty close. Ooh, up to age 4.
Oh, he has his farm transition really, really well figured out. Has a lot of farms, has a lot of food income, and thus being able to go up to the Imperial age here way before Viper. And this is looking a little bit rough right now. So far, Viper was able to kind of offset the economic difference here due to his cheaper production from his knights with the keep influence, but this can only go on for so long.
Yep, and right now we've got a lot of siege out in the open, but he's able to keep it alive. Springhold's going to try to face off with each other here on both sides, but yes, the age 4 of puppypaw is going to give him a little bit of time on his opponent. Viper looks like about to age up there. Spearman getting to the front line. Nesta Bees really want to get a fire off. You know, Viper's done a good job keeping his archers out of the fire of the Nesta Bees so far.
It's a lot of spears going down, and now the siege might actually be exposed as the knights, they now go for a dive on the siege.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. This is about to be a siege cleanup. Oh my god.
3 Nesta Bees down.
Ouch. I can't believe he didn't kill that Springhold.
He's getting it now. Now Trebuchet going down as well. That's 750 resource for every single one of these Trebuchets. Doesn't get the second one though from the looks of it.
Yep, so Viper just got to clean up there. He's aging up the College of Artillery. It looks like he's just about got that finished. His farms are set up, and not to mention he's got those stables and archery ranges set up around that keep. For the French, he gets discounts for all those units, so he's doing just fine. Villager count, actually, puppypaw is overboom. He's got 148 villagers. You usually see people start out somewhere around 120. What do you think is the perfect number of villagers to have? I think it varies on situation, but like, what do you typically aim for?
Typically, you aim for around 120. There are some civilizations where you can have a little bit less. Rus, for example, they have a very efficient economy. You can typically be at around 100 villagers with them. That's completely fine in the late game as well. The French, they also have a very efficient military production with their keep, so they're able to field a lot of military for relatively low cost. So I would say 120 for Viper as well, and that's an issue right now for puppypaw. He's sitting at 154 villagers right now. So
I want to see 200 villagers. He's going to come to a keep drop. That's that's what he's going for. And that's typically what we see sometimes. You get to these moments where it's like, okay, we got a ton of villagers. Let's send them out. Let's go build some walls or towers or keeps. That's a lot of times we start seeing, because towers don't count towards your population. They're not as strong as they used to be. Lots of archers there. No arbitrary, by the way.
Yeah, no ARP so far, but the archers, they're still doing a good job, especially once they get their upgrades coming in. So we got the first attack upgrade as well as the elite upgrade now coming for the archers. They're going to deal with probably pretty much everything. They have a lot of attack damage now.
Yeah, we see that gunpowder from the Chinese taking shots there on those knights as they try to get some raids. His granary is set up. They look so beautiful. He's got lots of agriculture going on. And yeah, I think we're a little bit of a late game fight here. Both players in age 4 grabbing techs. You can see if you look at the little dots there at the top of the screen, you can see what blacksmith techs they have so far. I haven't seen any bombards roll out quite. Well, I say that, but it looks like I can see on the UI there are 2. I think that means there's 1 bombard because it's 2 population. If math is right. Uh-oh. I don't know about that.
It looks like puppypaw just deleted 30 villagers as Viper's will kill suddenly went up by 30. That must have been a villager delete from puppypaw, so he realized that he has a little bit too many villagers up there, and is making some room. At the same time, Viper also tries to help puppypaw clear up some population space here, tries to kill up a couple of villages here. Spearmen, though, are in defense, and the keep also helps kill those knights relatively quickly, not getting a whole lot of kills there. Meanwhile, Viper still tries to complete his stone walls here on the front side, just gets himself a little bit of safety here. Puppypaw, he's dropping another keep on a large gold mine vein here. That's really important, just securing those large gold veins. They provide so much gold for you in the late game. It's really important that you're able to put keeps on them and just have them safe for your own taking.
And Puppypaw yeeted away like a 20 or 30 spearmen there, like straight into archers there a minute back. I thought he was deleting them on purpose, maybe to switch into palace guards or something, since there haven't been any arbitrary, but it looked like he's still training spearmen, so I think that might have been a little bit of a miss micro of those, or rather no micro. And some knights cleaning up those raids right now. This you never like to see as you get new siege out, having it instantly deleted. But luckily, Viper isn't watching because he could have maybe killed that trebuchet. So some stone walls being built down. Those can only be attacked by siege units once stone walls are complete. They can be attacked while in construction by anything, but once they're up, you need siege to get to those walls, or you can chop around the edge. Some people do.
People getting a lot of resource control now with walls on his side of the map as well. Gonna secure a smaller gold vein there. But at the same time, Viper, it looks like he's going to push from that side, as he already has one of those royal bombards coming out. Those do a lot of bonus damage, and he's gonna be able to blast through these walls relatively quickly.
Yep. And both players have at least access to one sacred site, so no sacred site timer ticking down right now. And
Fireland parades coming in.
I don't know if Puppypaw has seen all of this quite yet, but he sees it now. This Fire Lancer's going to get... well, they could do okay. This is a purely archer mass.
Yeah, the Fire Lancers, they did get buffed. So now the Elite Fire Lancers, they have 2 more Pierce Armor than they did before the last patch. But now we have Knights in the base as well. So this is looking equally imposing for both players. Puppypaw at the same time, though, sitting on 3,000 gold per minute. His economy is rock solid, and I'm not sure if the Knights can do enough damage here in his base in comparison to what Puppypaw can do in Viper's base. Oh, Bombard might be exposed here. This is dangerous. He already killed 1 Bombard from the looks of it. And same time, Siege is on the other side as well.
I was trying to see what gold is left on the map. I see Puppypaw's got that large gold vein on the south side. I'm wondering what Viper's got, because French can chew through gold, especially when you're producing those Knights. It looks like he's still got some there. But that could become a factor if this goes into the super late game. Yeah, he's got this one, so both kind of have their large gold vein. This is kind of split evenly right now.
Yeah, almost half the economy, a quarter of the economy there has been idled for Puppypaw for quite a long time. Oh, Siege getting sniped here on all sides. Royal Knight's getting a lot of value here. Now getting the trebuchet up as well. Oh, that's down as well.
So Siege, if you guys couldn't tell from the last 30 seconds, you have to have Spearmen protecting Siege, because Horsemen or Knights can just instantly turn them into a pile of splinters.
Yeah, and right now we can see with the stats, army value looking good for Viper at the moment. He's leading in army value, he's leading in army count as well. And at the same time, he's also leading by quite a bit in destruction value. So every single unit that he kills, every single building that he kills, that gets added up onto the destroyed value that we see in the bottom left. So far, did a good amount of damage. Puppypaw has been able to finish up his walls, so Viper is going to rely on Siege in order to break through that. Doesn't have any on the field at the moment, though, so might have to look to just pushing in the middle. At the same time, as observers pointing out, Puppypaw is sitting on a very large gold bank at the same time. All of the units that he's been making pretty much all game have been no gold cost. I mean, the Firelance cost very little gold, but that's a chop through. Firelance getting some hits off, but the spears are there very quickly as well. Puppypaw, we didn't go over it before, but Puppypaw right now, he's sitting in the Yuan dynasty. Now this dynasty, instead of making your villagers faster, all your other units, including your villagers, they start moving faster. So you get 15% bonus movement speed on all of your units, as well as your villagers. So suddenly, not just your military is going to be faster, but also your economy units, giving you efficiency there. And now we see just these two armies walking side by side. Villagers there in the stealth force might not have been caught out, but now they're being caught out, and they're going to go down. Nest of Bees firing on the archers. Knights in the middle. They're just trying to find a target right now. Engaging on the fire lines on the left side. Nest of Bees shooting on a single knight. Goes down to the Springles. Fight here, once again, looking good for Viper.
Yep, those archers are going to be great counter to all those spearmen. You see him wiping those out. Was that demo shit?
That was a cute attempt.
Viper thought this was the demo ship of launch time. They used to be nuclear demos that would destroy everything, but that demo didn't do anything. And not gonna lie, that was a little bit of a glimpse of maybe Viper hasn't played water in a bit.
That was cute. That was cute, though. He might have thought that, oh yeah, that demo is gonna take a lot of units with him, but
it would have before.
Taking out bomb bots.
That was the most underwhelming demo I've ever seen. Okay, so we got the Knights kind of jammed in there. The Spearmen able to do their work. Lots of archers. Very interesting. Just it's been an archer composition. No arbitrary, which a lot of times you see a lot of, but really hasn't made any armor units, so it makes sense. We've got the Spearmen taking out the nest of bees, and I think Viper is going to win this fight, but Puppypaw's, I mean, he's got about 9K gold in the bank. He just needs to fix his production pipeline, and we got a little bit of raid, looks like, going on the back line while this was happening.
Yeah, the food economy for Puppypaw also looking really, really solid here right now. Nest of bees. Oh, they could have gotten a huge shot off there, but instead they decided to fight the Knights, and now they're repositioning. One of the Nest of bees goes down immediately to the Springles, though. Springles, once again, moving into position. Might get a huge shot off here. Nope, archers move back. And they move back into the front. I think they just got it.
I think that hit.
Oh, yeah, I think that last one hit.
Yep, that could quickly take out the archers if he looks away. He might be looking back at his base, too, a little bit.
Yeah, a couple of horsemen have been sent into the base of Viper every now and then, but right now, yeah, Viper's food economy not looking nearly as good as Puppypaw's. He's sitting on 3,000 food per minute. Viper's sitting on 1.7k. Getting a lot more wood at the same time, though, which he needs for his archer production.
12K gold in the bank right now for Puppypaw. You know, you all got that one friend. You want to go out and, like, you know, spend a little money on the weekends, have some fun, and he's like, nah, I can't. I'm saving up. And then he's over there. He's got the 12K gold in the bank. That's Puppypaw right now. He is saving this up. It's going to be a fun for another day, and that's going to help him go way in this late game. He can take... Oh, that was a Fire Lancer. A little push there.
The Fire Lancer charge does do AoE, and we see a lot of villagers going down there as Puppypaw currently sitting on 43 killed villagers. Trying to take out the Springles here. Able to maneuver back into the Archer Mass, though. And this is just so annoying right now for Viper. There's just raids coming in everywhere, and Viper really needs to check his wall, see that there is no hole there where Puppypaw can sneak through. This is just excellent gameplay here right now. The Springles are still alive for Viper, so he was able to protect those at least.
Yep, so we're kind of back to the drawing board of the, like, back and forth little raids. Both player doesn't have a full wall up, and you're just getting little villagers here and there, but I mean, Viper's eco not looking as hot. I mean, he's under 1,000 for everything. I mean, he's still got his army numbers, but Puppypaw can just probably take this long game and just keep wearing him down if he keeps his eco lead.
Yeah, gold access is going to be rough for Viper here soon. He only has like one large gold mine remaining. If that's gone, then he will have to transition into trade, and that's not something that you want to do. This map especially, because there's just not a whole lot of distance between any of the wall, oh my god, he walled himself out. He walled himself out. He walled his own units out, and now they're going to be a little bit late to the party there.
That's going to be so annoying.
Just leave the wall segment and does go back in there. Could have just walled to the water.
Yep, so we got Fire Lancers raiding around. They've got the superior speed here. Knight's trying to chase them. They struggle catching up. He's going to be sitting there raiding his farms once again. Puppypaw sitting back, counting his coins, Scrooge McDuck style, while he's just raiding over on the other side of the map, just running by, just trying to distract him.
Yeah, now that Puppypaw, he has also run out of gold at this point in time, at least out of gold resources on the map. So now he's just sent all those villagers over to other resources, and we can see that now his other resource banks are starting to fill up. Lots of food, lots of wood in the bank,
that gap.
Yeah.
He deleted it. Oh. He deleted that gap earlier. That's they climbed up on the wall.
Oh no, that hurts. Archers are moving over there to deal with that. But those spears are mighty annoying right now as well.
And what we saw right there,
not able to
the walls that are, while they're in construction, can be attacked by infantry. So that's what happened there. Those infantry attack that wall. They can also jump up on top of the wall, as you saw there, if they go over to the gate. The gate has a stairway, and they teleport to the top of the wall and can duke it out there.
Yeah, and infantry on walls is really, really tough to kill. They take a lot less damage from ranged units, and siege as well. They take forever to go down. Oh, that's a good catch here. Lots of springlets going down. 2 springlets going down. 3 springlets go down, and the bombard might actually go down as well.
You know, it's interesting seeing the Fire Lancer back on the field. I feel like there's a little bit of time where people just stopped making Fire Lancers altogether, but we got a little bit of a rework, and here we go. We see Puppypaw's been largely just spamming Fire Lancers and Spearmen across the map. That's what he's doing here. I mean, that's why he has gold, too. He's not spinning a ton of it.
It's working. He's able to just delay Viper on all sides, and now he's going into the expensive units. Now we see hand cannoneers in queue. Now we see bombards, a lot of bombards on the field from Puppypaw. This is the point where he has pretty much drained Viper out of all his gold resources, and now he's able to spam his expensive units. This is very likely going the way of Puppypaw right now. His base is pretty much completely secure. He has so many keeps all around his base. It's so hard to get any damage in there. Viper, he was a little bit late with his walls, and because of that, his economy got raided all the time. And it's not just gold that's going to be drained off this map right now, it's wood as well. Puppypaw, if you look at the map, he's just eating through those wood lines on the left and on the bottom side, so he is going to just drain this map of resources. He's already setting up his trade as well.
There we go. Oh, look at that. That was the what is it called? The Great Gatehouse of China or whatever that landmark he's building it. So he's getting his final form. It's there in the middle. You can't find it. It's right there.
Yeah, he's going for the Ming Dynasty. Now, this could actually be counted as a little bit of a mistake just because Ming Dynasty makes units worse. But now we have a huge clash of units here in the middle of the map.
I think Viper might take this fight. He's going to jam his knights in there, and that siege could be in trouble. But those are hand cannoneers he's dealing with. But, oh boy, this is a crazy little fight. Fire Lancers charging towards the back line of Viper. And it does look like those hand cannoneers did mop up a lot of those knights. And, yeah, they're very, very, very effective at countering them.
That army value has basically flipped over now, as now Puppypaw has the higher value units on the field. At the same time, this entire time, Puppypaw had access to 2 sacred sites, only chose to take one of them.
That right there could be a very, that could be a huge momentum change in this game. That was a huge fight, and he did lose a good chunk of some knights there. And as his hand cannoneer, critical mass grows, it becomes even more dangerous to any knights that are hoping to do any damage.
Viper, every time, he's just pulling back his archers here. But it feels like he's still focusing the wrong units with him. He's just attack moving the archers, so they keep fighting against the Fire Lancers. But what he really needs them to do right now is pick out all of these hand cannoneers. They're stacking up so many hand cannoneers on the field right now, 24. And with 24, you're able to pretty much one-shot every single unit in the game. Yeah.
Now he needs to have, of course, some siege units if he's going to really push in these positions. But right now, it's been open field battles for a lot of this game. I mean, there's been some raiding on the back line, but they're just taking these big, massive fights. This is what I love to see when I envision playing Age of Empires. It's these massive battles, and we've got a good show of it here.
Yeah, now Viper tries to get a couple of raids into the base of Puppypaw, but it's behind so many keeps, and by the time those horsemen get to the back, the numbers are just so low that Puppypaw doesn't even really need to react to those. At the same time, every time he sends units into the back of Viper's base, Viper has to react with his own units.
Yep, and the hand cannoneers continuing to shred anything in their way. Some springles on the back line. Looks like the knights were trying to flank, but they're just getting shot down. Where is this bombard of Puppypaw? He's been sitting at 2.5 population, so he's, you know what? He's not able to get it out, because look, you look at Puppypaw's population. Every time he loses a unit, it instantly queues up another, and a bombard costs 2. So he hasn't been able, I think he finally got it out.
Oh, this is looking rough right now, and this game could still go on for a little bit longer, but the way it looks right now, it looks like Viper might also be running out of wood here very, very soon. He doesn't really have any more good wood lines to take from, and you need wood for the units that you're making. You need wood for the archers, you need wood for the horsemen, and without wood, you also won't be able to make any siege. We see right now Viper, he's sitting on 2 mangonels as well, so might be able to see some mangonels against the hand cannoneers here soon.
Well, and I mean, look at the villager count. This is less than ideal for Viper. 93 vills here at the 40-minute mark as your eco only got a few hundred of each, and you got an opponent that's got several thousand. Not ideal, but Viper's been holding these fights. He's continuing to see how these mangonels does. Gets a shot off. Those are going to be very effective versus the hand canoes. Oh, it missed.
Yeah, it goes wide and doesn't really do any damage. And now the bombard can actually took down the mangonel. Viper gets the trebuchet though, so a little bit of a return on investment there. Gets the trebuchet, gets the bombard cannon. Viper, all this time, he's been taking the better fights. We can see in the destruction value that Viper has all this time just been taking way better trades. But it's the economy behind all of this. That's a difference maker here. We see the army value now being almost twice as big for PuppyPaw, and this is looking very rough now. 2 Nest of Beasts, and Viper doesn't have an answer anymore. 2 does Nest of Beasts.
Yep, right now we got PuppyPaw. He's just kind of wearing Viper down. That's what he's been doing for a while. I mean, for most of this game, he was building that trash army until we got to this moment where he's been spamming out these hand cannoneers. Now allowed him to get such this gold lead. And we see a little flank there. He did get a little Nest of Beasts picked off, but it feels like Viper's struggling to just get a strong military force to stop this push. And here come 2 bombards.
And with that, he will also be able to fight under the keep, or at least be able to whittle that keep down slowly. And there it is. Viper calls GG. He knows that his economy is nowhere near as good, and he's not going to be able to keep that up. Game number 1 goes over the way of PuppyPaw.
And there you have it. PuppyPaw being the favored seed, showing you he's coming out of this, coming out of the gate here with putting points on the board. It is only a best of 3, so Viper going to need to pick up a win, hopefully in this next game to stay in this. But as far as that game, that was a long one, about 41 minutes, and you know, we could have some very close ones throughout the day. This could be something else we're going to see that's not uncommon. Looking at that villager count, you can really see there. PuppyPaw took that early lead. Of course, that the dynasty really helped him with getting tons of villagers out on the field. We had some back and forth raiding. Look at that PuppyPaw's military count there at age 4. I think that's where he hit threw those spearmen into that battle. But it looks like he was like taking bad fights. But I think he just kind of won the eco game in the long run. Because looking at this graph, like it looks like, look, Viper's military is higher throughout most of this game. I think it was the resources.
Yeah, but at the same time, I mean, Chinese or China in general right now is being traded as probably like the best civilization in the game.
80K
full
food.
stop. Just one of just S tier, absolute S tier right now. And I mean, Viper still, he had a really, really solid performance there.
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
I mean, especially against like a series where it's supposed to be a big skill difference from the seed. Like Viper went toe-to-toe with PuppyPaw there. That's a very good civ. I know PuppyPaw is also very good with China. So regardless of the state of that civ, PuppyPaw is very good with them. So we're going to move here to game number 2. And now Viper will get to pick the map. And he has selected his home map of Dry Arabia. Where's the Dry Arabia fans in the chat? I love Dry Arabia. Dry Arabia all day, every day. We don't need any water out here on these maps, but that's just me. And I guess we'll see what civs they end up picking.
yeah, I mean, in Dry Arabia, I would imagine that Viper, he could very likely be playing Abbasid. Abbasid still a very, very strong. Yep, there we go. For a second, I was like, oh, he still didn't pick a civ because the Abbasid Dynasty flag it's just black. It's just black. And I didn't realize I was like, oh, PuppyPaw already has a civ, but Viper, we're still waiting for his one. But no, he has picked the Abbasid here, and PuppyPaw, he is going for the Ottomans. So this is going to be very, very interesting indeed. I believe that in this one, the Ottomans, you could go for a build order where you actually build your first military school in the Dark Age and immediately go with Dark Age aggression.
Very good against Abbasid. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, you're able to delay the expansion with the town centers.
Yeah, that's exactly my thoughts. Now, Abbasid Dynasty has been my main civilization. I've been almost like just playing that civ a ton of these last few months, so I know the ins and outs of them. And I know that they struggle sometimes against that really early aggressive. Typically, you want to go for some town center expansions. Well, what has recently happened? They nerfed it's an extra 50 stone now to create those town centers. They also take longer to build. So those few seconds are crucial moments that if you're under pressure, you're going to be facing some military poking at your villagers that can make an effect. And not to mention the Ottomans do have this cool build where they build a military school right out of the gate. It'll for free train those spearmen. He can send them right over. And if you can poke the villagers off of gold, they want to get that fresh foodstuffs. But if you can stop them from getting the rest of it, they can't get their wheelbarrow. And that's really a nice dent in the Abbasid economy early on. But I'm not sure that Ottomans is going to necessarily, he'll do that right out of the gate. But yeah, this should be fun. Ottomans versus Abbasid, the battle of the berry sieves. And the first time we've seen the new DLC, I think, here today.
Yeah, I mean, Battle of the Berry Sieves depends on which landmark the Ottomans go for, since they don't have the default berry bonus. Even though they're one of those civilizations that's not able to kill or take food from the boars, they don't get the bonus gathering from the berries. But they do, however, have a landmark which generates berry bushes for them, which are gathering 50% faster. So that's even faster than the bonus that the Abbasid and the Delhi have. So very, very good landmark there for them in the feudal age.
Yeah, absolutely. I've been liking that landmark a lot lately. And just as far as the format for today, if you're just tuning in, this is a best of 3. So if PuppyPaw wins this, he'll go up to, I guess, the next winners series. But Viper wouldn't be out of it. He would go down to the next series of those loser series. They get additional chances. But Viper might get some points here on this board. We will see. It's his map. He's picked his civ of choice, and I expect he's going to be ready for this game. Ottomans being a newer civ, we'll see how prepared PuppyPaw is with this. And let's get into this game number 2 of the RedBull Wololo Legacy. Viper versus PuppyPaw, and PuppyPaw is playing as the blue Ottomans here on the south side of the map. And Crackety, I want to hear your best Viper introduction. Let's do it.
All right, there we go. In the yellow, we have playing as the Abbasid dynasty, GL the Viper. How was that?
I was fumbling trying to find my stream deck, because I've got that like siren, that like like thing. I was gonna run that when we his Viper, but yeah, of course, Viper being a super popular Age of Empires 2 crossover player, so lots of fans, and he is, I believe he's won. Is it RedBull that he's won before? Right, in AOE2?
Yeah, he did. He won the last RedBull event. That one that was also in Heidelberg. The first RedBull event that was in Heidelberg, Viper did win that one. So he's already a RedBull Wololo champion, now fighting to take up the spot as RedBull champion in Age of Empires 4 as well. Has to, however, come back from a 1-0 victory so far from PuppyPaw, so has to win the next 2 games, as this is already match point here for PuppyPaw.
Oh, military school. Uh-oh. Let's zoom in on that, as that is brand new. The Ottomans just launched yesterday. I know some of you saw that early pup. So this building for the Ottomans, it costs 150 wood and 100 stone, and it slowly produces units for free. So it's toggled on to spearmen right now. And he's basically going to, for free, get a spearman. You say, well, that's free units, that's crazy, but it is slow. It's an investment to make, and he can speed it up by building blacksmiths around. Well, he only needs to build one of them, and they get boosted rates through the ages. So that's what he's opened up with. I think he's going to go try to harass with these spearmen. We'll have to keep an eye on them as they head probably towards the Abbasid gold line.
Yeah, do note that in this current patch, you will no longer have a spawn where your gold is going to be in range of your town center. So you will have to be careful. In Dark Age, there could be aggression, and the spears, as we look at the gold, it is very far away from the town center. So Viper, he cannot just ignore this Dark Age pressure. Those spears, they're going to come over, and they're absolutely going to be able to delay Viper here. He currently hasn't... He's aged up, but he has no gold in the bank right now. He's going to need at least 125 for fresh foodstuffs as soon as he hits the next age.
Now, what you mentioned about the gold being further away, is that on all maps, or is that just specifically Dry Arabia here?
It's on all open maps. There are a couple of exceptions, just some special maps. If I remember, Mountain Clearing has a chance of having a gold spawn in range, just because it's a relatively cramped map. And also a map like Hideout also has the potential of spawning the gold in range of the town center. But all the normal maps which start with a smaller gold vein, not one of the larger gold veins, they do not spawn in range of the town center anymore.
That is massive, and I think the goal with that is they wanted to encourage some early, what we're seeing here, Dark Age play, feudal military pressure, because before it kind of felt like you couldn't pressure at all, but there we go. Spearman already pressuring. Now, while Viper is currently aging up, the Abbasid dynasty, with the economic wing that he's aging up with, they get half-price villagers by getting fresh foodstuffs, and that costs 125 gold and 50 wood. Now, it looks like he does have the gold for that, but typically you want to get fresh foodstuffs, and wheelbarrow is your goal, like as you're hitting the second age. So he needs to get enough gold to do that, and that's what the spearman kind of is going. He's pushed off gold, so he's not going to be able to get wheelbarrow right away with that fresh foodstuffs.
at the same time, puppypaw is also aging up. So this is like one of the really, really big strengths here of the Ottomans, because they start the game off with a little bit more stone, with a little bit more wood. They're able to get that building out with a relatively small investment of their own. They're still able to get like really competitive fuel age timings behind that. And that's so strong. You get a lot of spearmen in the feudal age. He already has 2 spears for absolutely free. Third one is on its way as well. And this is just a really, really good building. And now he's able to deny all the gold income. Yep. Viper will have to make at least 1 production building here and get some units out if he wants to ever get on gold again.
Yep, absolutely. So he's got that fresh foodstuffs probably coming in. I'm looking to see. Yeah, theirs is on the right side. But is that it looks like an archery range he's dropping down there, and that is what it is. And he is going to stone, so I think he's going to try for that second town center. But oh, villager's low HP. Just escapes it. Okay.
Luckily, the stone here actually did spawn in range of the town center, so he's going to be able to defend his stone mine. So he should be able to get a second TC out without too much of a hassle here with from the spearman.
Yep. So, spearman getting.
He's taking gold.
I would say he's got his value with these free spearmen, because he's at the very least had a villager idle time as they've walked around. They've just continued to poke, forced them to build that archer range right away. It looks like Viper is saving up for the next town center, but it's gonna be a while until he gets that. Let's see what comes down next. There's that blacksmith I had mentioned to you. If you look at the icons there on these buildings, there's a little plus icon, and you can see the rates they boost through each age. So as they age up, they get additional production speeds for the buildings. That's not just for the military school. If he builds a barracks or stable, whatever, those are all going to get boosted rates. And then he's also got the Vizier system. You can't see anything for this on the UI, but basically they save up, they get experience points. It's kind of similar to like when units are trained in AOE3, if you've played that, but they get experience points, and there's a few things that they can kind of ship on in. It can either be techs, it could get like additional military schools, additional military school speed, or it could send in sheep, which is typically the one a lot of people will use early on, but I'll have to kind of see if we can. The only way you can see it is by popping out of this advanced UI for right now.
And here we go. Now he switched over to the Sipahi. That's a unique unit for the Ottomans. It replaces the Horseman. It does cost a little bit more, has more HP, and it has a unique ability. When you activate the ability, the Sipahi will actually get 50% increased attack speed. However, it will also take 50% increased damage from melee attacks, but not from ranged attacks. So it's really, really good. Oh, there we had it. We had the sound, and what the sound means, it means that puppypaw, he's gotten a Vizier point. We can see he immediately used it, and he just redeemed 8 sheep in his base. Those 8 sheep, they weren't there before. They just suddenly spawned at his town center. So now he has 8 bonus sheep, as well as 10% increased mining speed from gold mines.
Yeah, so you can get up to a total of 5 of those Vizier points. You get them, as I said, when you train units. You also get them when you age up. Most of them help the military school, is what most of them are going to see, but that very first one sitting in those sheep in his gather rates. A camel out on the field. Look at him go. A little camel there.
Yeah, Viper at the same time, he's also making some spears. So now the supply comes out, but Viper already has an answer for that with his own spears. Now Spear is going to cross the map, and as soon as puppypaw sees that, it's going to be, okay, yeah, my supply has already been discounted, and this means that puppypaw right now, he's not going to be able to get any more gold. He was able to grab the double broadex upgrade as well as the wheelbarrow upgrade, but no more upgrades coming in for him now anytime soon, since he's off gold for the time being.
Yep, so we've got 2 military schools, an archery range. We've got Viper on the other side going for that town center expansion. You can see he's already got dropped down. It looks like he's going to go for a 3rd town center as I see him continuing to get stone. So Viper doing a good job. These guys Abbasid boom kind of going. He got delayed a little bit there at the beginning, but he's back in this. It doesn't look like he has wheelbarrow from what I'm seeing in the UI. I think that is true. I don't think he's gotten that, but he could buy it.
He has the resources for it, so he could definitely tag into that. Just going to be the question when he's going to opt in for that, or if he wants a faster age up right now. But it's roughly at this point, like almost 10 minutes into the game, when you really want to make use of wheelbarrow. Like, this is the time where your villagers start to suddenly have a little bit of longer walks, and this is like the perfect time to get a wheelbarrow, or have it already if you researched it earlier.
Yeah, absolutely. So Viper's got his multiple town centers up. We've got puppypaw putting his 2nd town center down. But of course, Viper's town villagers will only cost 25 food, when the standard one's going to cost 50.
Yeah, now puppypaw seems to be investing into a lot of archers right now. He's once again contesting the gold mine of Viper. And Viper, he's placed his second town center in a little bit of an odd way. This second town center doesn't really protect anything. Also looks like he overgathered quite a bit of stone here. So either he's going to go for a third and then a fourth TC, or maybe he's going to go for an output with some emplacements, perhaps.
Yeah,
Just
going to
have
like
to
an
use
overgather there. That's a lot of stone to have in the bank here from the second age, or a bunch of upgraded towers, but at the very least, yeah, I don't know. I kind of expected that town center to be dropped either on the berries or the gold. It's kind of, I don't know if it's even like straight up against that wood line. Maybe it is, but you can see villagers being harassed off those berries, losing one there with a little raid.
First villager of the game here going down for the Viper. So puppypaw taking the first vill kill of the game. Right now sitting on 16 military compared to the 9 military of Viper. Viper being ahead in villagers right now, even though both players being on the second TC just because Viper dropped his a little bit earlier. Also not investing as many resources into his villager production due to fresh foodstuffs. But this is looking a little bit tough right now for Viper. Just the military most of it is free for the Ottomans due to their military schools. So
yeah,
puppypaw, he's not actually investing that much into these archers here. Not nearly as much as Viper has to if he wants to match those numbers.
Did he ever get a third military school? I see 2 right now with the use of the next Vizier point. Oh, speaking of the devil,
as you mentioned it, there it is.
Wow, what timing. I just got that game sense. That sound means the Vizier point. I would assume he would spend it. There's one that lets you build an additional military school. You can typically get 1 per age. So he might be using that as kind of what I think, since he's kind of going the military school route.
Another TC for Viper, still not covering any of his gold, so he still doesn't have any safe access to gold. He did go for the wheelbarrow upgrade here at some point though, so he has that now at least, but I mean, he still has a little bit of stone over. Might just gather a little bit more, and then I would really like to see him drop a TC on one of these gold mines. He really need access to gold, and we see puppypaw right now. He's got 25 archers out on the field, and that's just a really large number here, and he's also tacked up with siege engineering, so he might just drop some rams. Also, what we see, all the units, they're lighting up. It's because he has another unique unit with his army, the Meter. The Meter, it's like it's a donkey with like drums, and they have like war drums.
Is it a donkey?
And,
I thought it was a horse.
People say it's a donkey.
Zoom in. We gotta get a look. We gotta get a look at that thing. But I almost wonder if he went for that Vizier point for the speed. Do you know? Is there a way to tell?
It's a horse. Okay.
Okay. Yeah. Don't you disgrace the Metro like that. It is a full-grown horse.
It has some really good buffs as well. So it has 3 different modes where you can toggle in between. 15% increased movement attack speed, +2 melee armor, or +1 pierce armor. So with that, with the +1 pierce armor, you can actually stay under town centers for a very long time. Does have it on just the attack speed right now, which is solid overall.
Here comes that ram push. I feel like we needed that band yesterday to be cosplaying this mentor. There needed to be a drummer on a horse. It was a missed opportunity. Maybe the next iteration. But 1 ram, probably not enough to take down a town center, but definitely probably Viper's probably like, uh-oh, that probably was a little warning sign of what's to come, because you see more rams being built. Those cost 250 wood a piece for you wood mathematicians back at home, and they can build them with the infantry because they researched that siege engineering tech at the blacksmith. So he's going to be building rams, and I think he's going to be putting the pressure on Viper. The villagers have the best torch damage. I mean, not the best, but they've got torch damage versus the rams. They're great for taking them out, but the archers can snipe those villagers if they go for that.
This is looking really dangerous now. 2 rams at the same time. There were some raids coming in. And Viper, he just does not have the military mass right now to deal with this. He's sending just 4 of his horsemen there into death. 4 horsemen are not enough to deal with the 35 archers here in the front. Villagers are able to take down the first ram. More villagers are getting put into the sea in order to fire upon the archers. Yeah, it looks like villagers are going to be able to take down the ram, but TC took a lot of damage here, and also a lot of villagers have been lost. 6 villagers so far in the game have gone down for Viper, and while Viper was able to stabilize here, there's another Vizier point, as we heard. I mean, puppypaw is just going to build more rams here.
I'm still seeing 2 military schools. He wants to send something else in, but yeah, he's gonna build more rams, doing the ram dance. There we go. And Viper's gonna be in a tricky situation. This is literally, this is death knocking on his door. Will he be able to stay alive in this series? While PuppyPaw is just gonna keep sending the waves of rams in with the archers to defend. How do you think Viper could stabilize and come out of this ahead?
He needs to be able to keep focusing down those ramps, but now more archers and more villagers go down, and it's just a ton of archers right now. He also needs to get more military out, maybe snipe some reinforcement as he's doing here right now. So that's some good work there.
Good move.
TC looks to be going down now as he just doesn't really have a response right now to all of those archers in the front. Just the couple of horsemen that he has, it's just never enough, and he needs to invest more into those right now. He's got more in the queue, but they're just at the wrong spot at the moment.
Hard thing is the fact that there's like 40 archers for PuppyPaw. That mass, I mean, it's hard to come back from that snowball of this now. But so far, villager-wise, they're very even. PuppyPaw actually just now taking the lead, 1 villager lead, as Puppy is moving back. I can only expect to build. Well, I would maybe more rams, but coming in for another little poke there. Viper needs to get his military up and going if he's going to hold this.
Camel archer gets sniped there. Is able to build up some horseman numbers here, but at the same time, PuppyPaw, he's sitting on 13 spears, and this is just really, really rough right now. More and more archers being produced by PuppyPaw, and he just has all the aggression right now. Economy looking really, really good for him in comparison to Vipers, and at the same time, there's 3 units coming in for him.
Yep, and there we go, working on that ram. Nice micro from Viper, backing up with those horsemen. They do have some ranged resist, so ideally you want the horsemen kind of tanking archer fire if you can. His archers are targeting the spears, and Viper putting up a good little fight here, but we see the horsemen going down. That tower has arrow slits, but he needs to repair it. Is he going to try? He's trying to repair it right now. The archer count 12 for Viper, but what is that? 43 for PuppyPaw.
Oh, no.
Now, some of those are walking across the map right now, but that tower is still alive with its arrow slits. The villager difference, PuppyPaw's up a little bit, but not a huge thing. Viper still got a chance, but a lot of gold in the bank for PuppyPaw. Could he? I don't know if he's just going to go for him.
He's rebuilding the TC that went down. He's just placing another one straight on top of it. He's like, okay, you took down that TC, all right. That means you're not gonna attack here for the next 5 minutes. I'm just gonna build another one. This is fine. This is fine.
Well, and another major difference during this whole fight is that Metter there banging on that stupid little drum he's got. He's given, what buff has he been doing? Do we know? Is it the attack speed or the range resist? Do we know? It looks like he's done.
Oh, the attack speed.
Yeah. What in a fight? What do you do when you're under town center? Do you typically do that one, or do you do the range resist?
I would go for the range resist, just the range armor. I think that makes much more sense when you're trying to push under town centers or under these towers, especially with the composition Viper is going for. Personally, I think if you're only against one composition, you can go for just whatever counters that one. But if you go for a multiple composition, like a tri-comp or something like that, that's usually when you can just go for the attack speed and you'll get the most value out of it.
Yep, so he's just picking off a tower, picking off a house, being annoying. Honestly, Viper is fortunate that PuppyPaw hasn't been just like squeezing his berry source, because he doesn't really have anyone on that gold. As he starts to move up to the northeast side, his berries are going to be in trouble. I mean, did take down this town center early on, but there we go. Line formation for Viper. He's got horsemen on the front, but again...
Picks up the meta. Meta goes down. Buff is gone.
Huge snipe. No more drums, no more drums. Archers are there. Vizier point comes on in, and just what the Ottomans need. More momentum in their way. He's aging up.
He's just making so many units for free, and he's just like, okay, I go up to the next age now. No biggie, no biggie. And he's winning this fight by a lot as well. This is looking really rough now for Viper.
There you have it. New DLC, clearly pay to win, right? Because they're free. What do you think about the balance of the Ottomans up against Abbasid? I haven't played them since. I mean, they gave them that the wood, the cheaper buildings was that kind of big change they made for them. How would you feel like Abbasid versus Ottoman on paper?
I think it's fairly equal. Abbasid are still a really good civilization, and so are the Ottomans. I think this game just came down to the town center positioning of Viper. He just wasn't able to get the town centers in a position that would actually give him access to any real resources. And there we go. Viper calls it. It's a 2-0 sweep for RedBull. Taking this set here.
And there you go. RedBull Wololo Legacy. This is the opening series. Viper not able to get the job done. And RedBull will be 2-0, moving on to the winner's bracket. But of course, Viper fans, do not fear. He is not out of this yet. He's going to have a second chance. He'll be playing down in that lower bracket. But for now, that's going to be the end of Viper's story here for today, as RedBull has had a very clean 2-0. I would say game one was a lot closer as far as this series went. This one just seemed like RedBull opened up with the Spearman. Of course, that big change, like you noted at the beginning, the fact that the gold is no longer under that town center is massive and made RedBull's strategy so strong. We saw the Spearman come out and harass the gold line, and it was able to kind of boost him into this military pressure he was able to put on the Abbasid.
Yeah, if only Viper had positioned those TCs a little bit more forward, just be a little bit more protective of your resources with those town centers. And yeah, I think that was like the main difference here. Like the town centers, they just didn't really protect any of the resources that he really needed. For example, the third town center could have been placed on the deer. That could have given him food access. And the second town center, I would have really liked to have that either on the gold right in front of his base, or the one that was a little bit to the right. Would have also given him protection of his berries there. So it's just a little bit tough with the TC position. I think that's a little bit like what changed with the latest patch because of the way the gold spawns. Previously, players, they were like, oh yeah, my gold is safe anyways. I'm just gonna use my TC to protect other resources.
Yeah.
You can't really do that anymore. Gold is so important. If you go for multiple TCs, it is really important that you do actually protect valuable resources here. It just wasn't the case here, sadly, for Viper, and that is why RedBull wins the series 2-0 so far.
And let's not discount the fact Viper has qualified her RedBull Wololo in both Age of Empires 2 and Age of Empires 4. I know we didn't see him win in this series, and I know he didn't take home the win in AOE2, but that is just a massive feat, guys. Like I can imagine getting close to qualifying with any of those, let alone he did it with 2 games. Super props to him. I mean, he should be so proud of that accomplishment. I mean, that is huge.